What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Cloud Slayer channel. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, we just got a regular ramble. Possibly tomorrow, shoot something, maybe not. But I just wanted to drop by. We had a few birthdays celebrated today, yesterday, so on and so forth. We got Michelle's birthday, and then we got my fiance's birthday, Jen. Happy birthday! And hopefully the day was full of joy for him. I know for Jen, it has been because we just been, we had a little birthday party thing with her family. Cake and all that kind of good stuff. Playing some Roblox, and we finally, Benji and I finally coaxed her into doing some Roblox, and she was like, I don't want to play those kind of games, that little kid game or something. And now she's addicted because it turned out to be better than she thought it was. And we were playing hide and seek. We were, doing cool stuff on those things. And games might be bad or whatever, but sometimes it can bring people together, right? Bond some people, friends, family, whatever the case may be. It reminded me of like growing up all the time, gaming with my brother, and still game with him time to time. It's just more specific to like shooters and stuff like that. I guess when we were growing up, it was always like Madden, NBA. Yeah, pretty much those games, or some Mortal Kombat, stuff like that. Mario Karts, all those kind of things. We had the Super Nintendo, we had the regular NES also later on. I like that those cheaper Ataris and stuff like that, but there's so many games. PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. Well, I was an adult when PS3 came out, but PS2 when I was a kid. They had like racing games. They had a bunch of fighting games. Was one of my favorite Mortal Kombat games, Shaolin Monks, where you could basically, it was almost like free roam, but it wasn't. GameCube had a few good ones. I can't remember which ones those ones were, but it was like, I think that was more like an RPG almost. You're going around and talking to people in the world to like somebody eat bad kimchi. That's all I can remember, but played so many Mario games over the time, Water Mario and all that kind of jazz. What was it? Some of my most memorable ones were probably like Halo and stuff like that. I remember my brother and I would always stay up late playing those games, get mad at each other when one of us caused us to die, but end up beating it. Like, gosh darn it, Gears of War and stuff like that. The first one, I think I moved out by the time the second one came out, maybe, or we just never got it. I guess I don't know. I can't remember. So stuff like that. But as I transitioned to adulthood, I continued to buy games. Not at first. At first, it was like about drinking and doing drugs and stuff like that. And I like stopped playing video games for a while and stuff like that. But then, I remember I ended up buying a PS3 because I had a gambling addiction at the time, and there's times where I also, I spent the whole paycheck almost after I got it, and that sucked. I borrowed some money. I had a buddy, Donald, borrowed me some money and stuff like that. And the shitty part was I had a smoking problems, and stuff like that. But my drinking wasn't at like its all-time high at that time. I was still 18. I was, under 21, and I was like dependent on having a runner, somebody to pick some up for me, or I think I was allowed into the bars. I tell this story about going to the Legion in Monoman there, and they knew me because they come in a graveyard shift, and they just thought I was older than I was because of how mature I was and stuff like that. I was, because I moved up in positions pretty fast, got lead positions, stuff like that, and I guess to them, like my work ethic showed that I was like older or something like that. I always got that too. People thought I was like 27 or some shit like that when I was 18, 19, and now I'm a little older than that. So time flies. I remember being told that when I was a young guy by people, like, oh, you're gonna be that old. Yeah, Rick, that's not gonna be me, but it always will be, because everybody else was the young person at one point. And then even as I get older, I continue to hear that your generation, people your age and stuff like that. And, some people prove you wrong and some people prove you right. But, I also see that in older generations, they're not always the hardest workers neither. So it just, it depends on the individual, purely on the individual and stuff like that. So, excuse me. It's just some people, they have something to prove. Who knows if it's to themselves or to somebody else, you know what I mean? Everybody has different reasons for doing stuff. I guess that kind of correlates into, sports, weightlifting activities, cooking, any aspect of life that can take you places, that can make you known as like the best, you know what I mean? Anything, even if it's something that you're not that isn't well known, that really can't get you, recognized, I guess you could say, you know what I mean? So, it just, some people just like to do their best in certain things that make them feel good, you know what I mean? So, and, that's a good thing. It's a great, beautiful thing, because if they didn't, then I guess we would just have a world full of people that don't try, never making any kind of advancements or anything like that. We wouldn't have any technology, probably wouldn't have any shelter. We'd probably just be extinct by now, right? But somehow people, were able to further develop and further create certain technologies and stuff like that. It's kind of relative to how, to me, I watch like Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan Experience, and I watch other podcasts too, but they roll around the same sphere, where they're like interviewing certain people that talk about, how like wildlife, like cats, like somehow they're able to communicate, and from cat to cat, they just know instinctually, certain things. And, humans aren't quite like that, but I think it kind of was, because, almost all races were trying to go towards improving technology and conquering and, spreading something, you know what I mean? And never ceasing to try to make something better, trying to conquer, trying to do more, whatever that means. And thankfully, they started to leave like education and stuff like that, right? And we're lucky that our race, our species, or whatever, not race, I guess, species, are able to write down things and be able to carry on those through time for however long that we do have, right? And not very long for a lot of things, but what's the oldest a human can be? I don't even know who the oldest person ever was. I think the oldest I've ever seen on when I looked it up was probably like 130 years old, 134. But then it was unconfirmed, and there's always, like, oh, we can't prove it type stuff. And, it's like, ooh, I wonder how old the oldest person really was. Yeah, kind of stinks that, people don't really know. There was that one guy, John Smith. He was born in Cass Lake, and they said he lived 3 centuries. But then, I guess, like the what is that? Like the father or the whatever, like some guy from church that witnessed it said he wasn't born the year that he claimed, or that people claimed, and stuff like that. So I guess we'll never know. It's almost like that. There's the second year coach for the Redskins, in their existence, and supposedly they were named after this guy as an honor, but he wasn't coached till the second year, which doesn't make sense to me. And there's the other thing where his lineage of being Native American is questionable. I guess they had testimonies, and then they ultimately just threw it out, and it was inconclusive, right, and stuff like that, because he was trying to get out of the draft, military draft, because he claimed he was a sovereign person, and it was like against his religion and stuff like that. Which some Native religions don't believe in that, I guess. I know when I was younger, I heard about them, some of them just didn't believe in fighting for it. I don't know, but like to me, it doesn't make sense because I thought those were different time periods and they didn't really care about that kind of stuff. But I don't know anything. I don't know all that history, all that entails these things. I only know some things that I heard, and the crappy part about that is it could be lies, it could be false. You know what I mean? Because I guess we're going through it. We've always been going through it, right? Native people are like, we never sacrifice people or something like that. Certain natives you'll ask and be like, okay, we were just peaceful or whatever. But in some recorded histories, we did have like some Plains natives had, slaves and stuff like that from the battles between each other, and even taking in like when you attack certain settlements, how the last war chief, Peter Nakona's son, because they end up taking Cynthia and Parker, and then she ended up being part of the tribe and stuff like that, right? And it was the last war chief's mom, and she was a white lady, and they end up like taking her back. The Texas Rangers took her back, and she ended up ultimately like killing herself because she kept trying to go back, kept trying to come back to the native way, but they prevented her from doing that, and she longed for it. And there's a lot of instances where people were, they would say slavery at the time, but they essentially end up becoming part of that way, and they didn't want to be civilized, you know what I mean? And it was weird, right? It's weird. They were, because if you were to think now, you're like, dude, I pick civilization over, more tribalistic types of living where you ain't even got no AC or, something. But I guess that ain't a fair comparison because at that time they didn't have ACs or anything like that neither. I mean, granted, they probably had some houses and stuff, right? But I'm sure it was still a bitch to keep warm and stuff like that. Houses burning down all the time. They didn't have like fire codes like they do nowadays, right? And it happened all the time. Other people would attack them to try to steal their plots of land or something. You never know. Some native people coming in and taking what they wanted because it was part of their land, and stuff like that. So, so it's sad. A lot of times these histories, it baffles me because the natives, whenever I was growing up, they were like, the land belongs to nobody. The land, all these things about how the land's everybody's and it doesn't belong to anybody. But then all of a sudden it's like they stole our land and we want our land back and stuff like that. It's weird. It's either say that it was our land or or don't. I don't know. We're all humans now. We all have to, I guess, essentially learn how to coincide. That's the only way we're going to be stronger. So there ain't like we can drive anybody from these lands. You know what I mean? First of all, we don't have enough people. Second, there's so many people that have been born here now. most people that, are alive nowadays and are Americans were born here, essentially everybody, right? They've been here for hundreds of years. The only ones that aren't are maybe the ones that migrated here at a young age, or gained citizenship or whatever within this lifetime, right? And that's about it, I guess. So, but anyways, I don't know. I wasn't even going to talk about this. It just randomly came up. So, but I did want to talk a little bit about exercising and stuff like that. And I had a couple videos. So if you haven't checked those ones out yet, I just wanted to see my where I was in the bench press and the deadlifts, so that I can make more of programs towards these things, right? I want to say, like, don't be ashamed of any numbers that you get or anything like that. That, if anybody ever says anything, you shake it off. Don't worry about it. Like, it's crazy. I see, like, online sometimes they're like, oh, so-and-so's weak or whatever. But, it's like, if you're stronger, you shouldn't be running your mouth, Just be quiet. Be humble, because when you started out, you wasn't like super strong, You're not helping anything by just sitting there being negative. Like, share some techniques, share some of what it took, like when you were at that level, and some things what to watch for. Sometimes people don't know what bad form looks like. Sometimes they don't know, they don't know what kind of intensity that they're supposed to bring to the table if they want to improve themselves, because I always see those questions on there, like, how do I get stronger? What do I got to do more of? I'm stuck at 132 pounds or something, 135 pounds, whatever. And, it's like, it's not as simple as pick up more weights, push more weights. It's like, how often are you doing it? What's your intensity? Like, if they were like, oh, I push hard, I do 5 sets or something. And it's like, well, are you sweating really bad? Are you are your muscles sore? Are you really pushing it to a high level? Are you really going all out, as hard as you think you are, or how hard you should be, And sometimes they don't know. They think that somebody thinks that they're doing it as hard as they can, or they're being as smart, or something of that nature, and maybe they're not, because maybe they lift by themselves. Maybe they've never seen what it looks like in person for somebody to push themselves. There's also situations where, if you just watch YouTube and stuff, it doesn't look as intense as it does in person when somebody's working out, right? Like, they don't look sweaty, they don't look like whatever, you just see them pushing it. They make it look easy, which they of course they make it look easy, but in all reality, it took them years to perfect those techniques. It took them years to work at lower weights, to advance themselves to heavier weights, to test themselves physically and, within their nervous system and stuff like that. Because getting stronger isn't always just about how the body looks, You can be a buff guy and be the weakest guy in the room. Just because you look the buffest doesn't mean that you're going to be the strongest. Or just because you're the buffest guy doesn't mean you're the strongest guy. So, but sometimes it can be. It's the thing is it comes down to how they were testing their strengths, how they were lifting certain ways. Some people do it for different reasons. They go for hypertrophy, and that's why they're like that. But sometimes strength people, they don't do the hypertrophy aspect of it. They do, just the strength aspect. So you see some guys that are super skinny, but they're stronger than shit, Or, when you do get the buff guys that are really strong, then, they're doing both to help improve everything, I think they're coming more to light nowadays because you're starting to see people at like 100, 160 pounds, but they look so jacked. They look bigger than a 200-pound guy, a normal 200-pound guy, but but they weigh less. They just have bulkier muscles and stuff, because of the style of training that they're doing. They're doing a lot of, they call them like power building or whatever, powerlifting / bodybuilding and stuff like that. So, there's definitely a science to it. So you don't ultimately destroy your body, and only you can find those answers, right? It's a equation that you got to figure out on what you want to do. So whatever feels good on your body, I know I have conversations with some good buddies sometimes through messages or even in person. They're like, "What's your opinion about this? Like, how many sets do you have to do for strength?" And it's like, it's subjective, right? Or improving your physique. It's all over the place, everybody has an opinion on it, but everybody has different results too. The answer is whatever's best for you, whatever helps you be consistent, right? Ultimately, it comes down to consistency more than it does about that. Of course, you got to push yourself and stuff like that, but sometimes if you over push yourself and you hurt yourself or something, then you're out. You're not doing it for a while, and those are setbacks. You gotta almost try to limit the setbacks as much as you can. And sometimes even if you have some setbacks, maybe you gotta work something else. While you're hurt or something. I know that's true for somebody like myself, where I continually hurt my ankle, and I don't do those things. I don't do any more deadlift things. I don't do anything to strengthen it or rehab it or anything like that. I have no excuse for it, right? But the thing is, I started doing other things. I practice my kickboxing, kicks and stuff like that. Practice punching, punch kick combinations, on my heavy bag. It's not the same as practicing with people and stuff like that, but it is what it is. Then I've been doing a lot more stretches, strengthening my knees, because my knees have always been bad since I was younger, since I was a teenager. But I've been doing a lot more exercises to help increase those mobilities, right? I can do proper squats now. I do ass to grass and stuff like that. And I ain't even doing body weights. I'm just doing body weight stuff. I'm doing some knees over toes exercises, I know I couldn't do it before. I mean, even now I still feel it in my knees cracking and stuff like that, but nowhere near as much as it used to be. And I know that it's helping me. It's helping me be strong in those positions. It's helping me, I can do basic stuff now. I couldn't even, when my son was real young, he was, I say this, this a couple years ago, 2 years old, he's running circles around me while we're playing toys on the car because my knees are still bad, I was just getting proper, I could squat down properly, but I couldn't move my body or anything like that. But now I can, I'm getting a lot better and things like that. So, it takes time. Sometimes it takes years. And sometimes people just get discouraged because they don't see progress in X amount of time, in a short amount of time, like we all want, and might prevent them from going on and trying to do those things. And, sometimes that it keeps their mind unhealthy because they're not sweating it out, because they're not working towards something, because they're not achieving something more, And, I recommend, I recommend for anybody and everybody to try to do some form of workouts, It doesn't have to be in a gym. It doesn't have to be anywhere. It could just be anything in life, right? Cleaning your house, picking up your yard, mowing your yard, stuff like that. But I recommend stretches, though, for sure. Try to do some stretches, especially if you have mobility issues and stuff like that, Stretching, that's subjective too. But I can only speak on my experience, my opinion. that it helped me a lot, and it's going to continue to help me. You know, I still have my aches and pains, but I'm doing a lot better than I was. I can do things that in a different way than I used to. I'm more flexible. I'm getting stronger knees and stuff like that. So you just gotta find whatever answer is best for you, to help you achieve the things that you want. And the answer is never going to come easy. It'll never be easy. The answer is not good. You're not going to find it with me. You're going to find it from hundreds of different sources that make sense to you, that help you continue and motivate you. You'll take little bits and pieces from everywhere. You might even take a little piece from here, from me just talking about stuff, from the 2 videos I got so far. You know what I mean? You never know. You might not take anything from that, and that's okay, right? Because not everybody's way is going to be for you, and you're going to learn that, and you're going to continue to grow regardless. And, hopefully, I hope you grow and get stronger and, attain the things that you want to do from certain aspects of your life that, because it sucks. Life sucks. It sucks not to do anything, right? It sucks not to have little goals that you want to achieve, So, and it also sucks to feel like you're wasting away, withering away, and thinking to yourself that there's more to life than, whatever's going on in that life at that time. So, but anyways, I hope you guys had a good time in this ramble. I hope to see you again next ramble. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please consider doing so. And until next time, peace.